Hello everybody, my name is Nicholas Dongo and this is Nicholas Dyslexic Advocate channel. So today's video, I went to look up TV where I was talking about the challenges of dyslexia and how to face it. I was with my mentor Nancy and Kuka, and I want to say thank you to Look Up TV for inviting us, and all those students for coming to let other people to know about dyslexia. I'm very grateful. So I don't talk too much, but the video to explain more of it. So like this video and do not forget to subscribe and comment if you really love this video. It will help other people to know, and even share this video so you will spread awareness to other people. Thank you and enjoy the video.
A very warm welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here, right here on Big Idea, always on Look Up TV. Now, October is many things. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. But today, specifically, we want to understand dyslexia. Now, this is a word that has been giving very many people a difficult time to pronounce. But today, with my very able panelist and audience, we're going to break it down and make you understand, break down all the myths and misconceptions about it, and just get to really know what exactly is dyslexia. With me on the panel, right next to me, is Nicholas Ndungu Irungu, who is a youth with dyslexia. Karibu.
Thank you.
And then Kukanjeru, who is the founding and the director of Learning Differently Limited.
Thank you.
Welcome. Phyllis Munyi, founder Dyslexia Organization of Kenya.
Thank you.
Welcome. And Miriam Morania Kungu, who is a parent.
Thank you.
Welcome to the set. And we have an audience with us, students and teachers, dyslexic students and teachers. Karibuni sana. Thank you. Yeah, and by the end of this, we should be understanding, the audience at home should be understanding what dyslexia is really about. So I'll start with you, Nicholas. You have been living with dyslexia.
Yes.
Maybe take us through how the journey has been. When did you discover?
When I discovered, when my mom told me, when I was 11 years. Since that time, most students just keep laugh at me, mostly of my reading and my writing, and I didn't understand what is going on and why are they laughing at me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how was it for you when you were reading or writing?
I have some spelling mistakes, and when I start to write, I write some words which doesn't make sense to students or to teachers.
To other people?
Yeah, to other people.
Okay, and so maybe we just want to really understand, Kuka, if you can tell us what dyslexia is really about.
So dyslexia is a brain function difference. Brain structure difference, in the sense that the same way I'm wearing glasses, they can be corrected my eyesight can be corrected by glasses. But for dyslexia, your brain has been structured in a way that it can't communicate well when it comes to reading or hearing of some words.
Okay.
And so if a child misses one letter in a word, the whole sentence doesn't make sense. First the whole word, then the whole sentence, and the whole concept that you're trying to teach does not make sense. So that's what happens in the brain, that some letters are not, if they're not read well or are not communicated well in the brain, then the child is unable to read properly and concepts don't make sense if read.
Okay, and so how did you come about with Learning Differently Limited?
My passion is 1 in every 5 people has a learning disability. So we are estimating 5 million children going to school now have a learning disability and dyslexia, for that, which is the most common. So I figured what will be the greatest impact and to be able to reach the children. If I do a one-on-one, if you're dyslexic and I am like he is, we get bored. So we figured if we train teachers and caregivers on what the symptoms of learning disabilities are and how to help the child cope within a classroom setting, then the impact will be greater. So that's how come we started.
Okay, and I'll go right to you, Miriam. You are a parent of a dyslexic child. Well, it's quite a mouthful, that word. We're getting the groove. So, what was it like for you when you first discovered?
Okay, it was, of course, every parent, when you get a child, you check their milestones and you hope when they reach school age, they go to school and you expect them to learn to read and write. You always think it's normal. But for me, when I took him to school, even at early, of course, he was a late developer. He developed very slowly. Milestones were not well hit. But when he went to school, it wasn't easy because when initially he showed a lot of interest in reading and writing, but then he could, around 3 years, 4 years, he went to school at very early at 3 years. 5 years, some kids were writing something. 6 years, they were writing something. Going on, he was not doing anything. He couldn't move beyond preschool. Then he repeated a bit. He went to class 1, class 2. And then I kept thinking, oh, he's going to pick. But he wasn't picking. And that's when, I think around 6 or 7 years, the teachers told me, he's having difficulties. And so you might want him checked. What could be the issue? Right. And it was not easy for me to accept that other kids are writing, they are reading, they are talking. Talking was very much delayed. He had to do speech therapy. And it was not easy for me. I didn't accept it. And I kept saying he has to continue, he has to do it. Maybe I'm not a good parent, I need to, maybe the teachers are not doing their best. But then we realized he had a learning disability. I didn't tell him until he was a bit much grown because I felt like he was going to feel stigmatized. But finally I realized to empower him, he needed to know. So around 11 or so, when I kept understanding about dyslexia through even this organization, because I've interacted with Kinefillis and Nancy in the school he's in, I was able to understand and I accepted. So when I accepted, I made him accept, and we were able now to move on from there.
And if you don't mind, do you have other children as well?
No, he's an only child.
Okay.
So I didn't have someone to compare with except the children in school and the other friends.
Okay. And let's talk about the Dyslexia Organization of Kenya. Phyllis Mwenye. And dyslexia, Kenyans are only now getting to know about it. Where October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. Now we're talking more and more about it.
Yeah.
But when did the organization begin?
I would say organization officially started in the year 2011. But before the organization being registered and now becoming a formal institution, we had started doing the awareness slowly when I learned about it, or when myself and my sister, we learned about it. Because like Miriam has said, it is like a roller coaster. You expect your child to be doing this, they are not doing that. You compare like with other children and they are not reaching there. Then you ask why, what's the problem? And something just happened. We discovered the word dyslexia, going to the Google, researching, and you are like, oh God, all this has been within my reach because of now the internet, and I didn't know what to do with my child. So after now learning about it and learning so much, that's when we realized we needed a platform to now creating awareness, because everywhere you read, you learn that there are 10% of the population has this learning difficulty.
That's a big number.
It is a very big number. And then look at this very little awareness. Or by that time, there was zero awareness. Then it's like, what do you do? Or how can I share the knowledge I have learned and yet make it acceptable? As a parent, it would, but when you have a platform, an organization, that's when you have now you have a platform and acceptability within the country, the community. So that's when we registered the Dyslexia Organization Kenya in the year 2011. as a non-governmental organization, or non-profit making organization. Yeah.
And I would want to engage the audience, but before I do that, so what have been the challenges in the dyslexia organization?
Come again?
Have there been any challenges since you set up in 2011?
Yeah, because of lack of awareness, the community not understanding, and we are talking of a case of a person, you don't look at them and label them. You know, you can't just looking at Nicholas here, you cannot tell he has any challenge. So when it comes to telling people, even the teachers, the challenge is that even teachers think that you're protecting your child. The other challenge is like the acceptability. The word is hard to pronounce, so is the way it is hard to be accepted in the community, in the school environment. And since it is not something that can be seen and person be labeled, even the having teachers realize that this thing is there, it's a bit hard. So acceptability, also funding, we have not had we are not able to go to go the way we would have wanted, because we realize that if at least two teachers in every school in the country are able to identify and support the children within that school who have dyslexia, the challenges these children go through would be reduced. Right now, we cannot say that we have even reached that level, so we need maybe funding so that we can be able to reach the schools, even in the villages. Right now, you realize where it is being talked, even today, even as we speak, it's only maybe in Nairobi, and people who can access internet. Those who cannot in the village, they have no idea, and that's where the challenge is even more. Because those are where the children, after being labeled several times, they are made to repeat classes, they drop out. When they drop out of school, what do they do? What do they become? You find there are those who currently the challenges of alcoholism, and you see we are talking about people who are very, very intelligent, but they are not accepted. They are labeled, they are like social misfits.
So it's not harnessed.
Yes, they when they go out, they already are angry. So what do they do when they go out? So those are the things. So the challenges we have is about lack of funding, acceptability within the community, and the Ministry of Education would say it is a lot of dragging into accepting this learning difficulty that it is there within the community or the children in the country.
Right.
It is actually thought to be like a white person's problem. Yeah, it's not like as Kenyans or black people have.
It's this foreign.
Yes, it's this foreign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we'll be involving the audience and teaching. Maybe I'll address the teachers first. Teaching is already a calling on its own, and now teaching children who have a certain difficulty in learning is, I think it's more than just a calling, more than just passion. So if we can have the microphone go around, Director.
My name is Michael Jenga.
Okay, so Jenga, you can tell us what led you to, teaching kids with dyslexia.
Okay, my first encounter with dyslexia was when I was tuitioning, or I was trying to coach a kid for about 2 years, and after those 2 years, the child still could not be able to identify the alphabets. She's still confused B and D, and so I realized that something is wrong somewhere. That was the first time I encountered dyslexia.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is part of the reason why now you went into teaching kids with dyslexia.
Yeah, because that is the time when I started searching the internet, and that is when I realized what dyslexia is. And I also realized that there are so many other kids who have dyslexia who are not known in the community, or the community does not know that there's something like dyslexia.
Okay, so if you can pass the microphone, so if you can tell us your name.
Okay, my name is Nancy Munyi.
My namesake.
So I am a co-founder of Dyslexic organization and the founder of Royal Gem Talent School. My first time I heard about dyslexia was in college, but when we were learning about it, our lecturer just said, when we go out in the field to teach, we are going to find children who will not be able to read like other children, and she gave the name dyslexia. She said dyscalculia and dysgraphia. That time I didn't know that it is possible to find it in my house. So when I started teaching lucky or unlucky for my son, when we went, I was his first teacher. So I realized that he's not able to read as other children, and it was not so easy for me to teach other children to read, and my own son is not reading.
Right.
It was really hard to accept, and unlike other children who had difficulty in speech, who had difficulty in milestone, his milestones were so perfect. So it was so very hard for anyone to pick that he could have any challenge. And he was that strong boy who can defend himself anywhere, and he was very expressive. He had expressive, and everything was perfect. Only difficult he had was when it came to spelling and writing. But his mathematics were good, and that brought a lot of confusion. So for me, it was very hard to accept that he could be having any problem. His siblings, who are older than him, did not have any problem. So for me, it was like, this boy is pretending.
Because the rest are normal.
Yes. Though I had heard about dyslexia, it was very hard for me to think that he could. But I went to KISE to learn about special need, and just when I was in college and we had learned something about special need, specific learning difficulties, Phyllis, my sister, called me and said, I know why our sons are not able to read. Apparently my son is older than hers, so I had encountered the problem before, and I had tried to create awareness to them, but just like any other parent, it was not so easy for them to accept that their son could be having difficult and stop blaming the teacher. Because it is so easy to say the teacher is not taking care, the teacher does not love my son or my child,
or is not doing enough.
So she or she is not doing enough. So it was very hard for me to explain to them that, okay, I have this problem, and my son is my son, and I'm the teacher. So you are better, you can blame the teacher. Who am I supposed to blame? Because I'm the teacher and the mother. So I didn't have any problem. I had a lot of problem accepting. But when Phyllis talked about, she called me and told me, I know why our sons cannot be able to read. I was like, I know they have dyslexia. She couldn't remember that I had told her it was something difficult that is either from our family, and she hung up. She didn't continue calling with the conversation, but she later Googled and brought so much information about dyslexia. And as she has said, we were like, what do we do with that information now? That as a teacher, I didn't know about dyslexia, though many other teachers that we were teaching with, they didn't know about dyslexia. Parents didn't know about dyslexia. So what can we do to give to help raise awareness about this condition? And that's why we came up with an idea that the only thing that we can do is to create a platform where when I come to you and I tell you I come from Dyslexic organization, you're going to listen to me, rather than when I say I am a teacher and I know about dyslexia. Sometimes we wonder, what does teacher know anyway? So we created we registered the organization so that we can have a platform where we can reach teachers, parents, and the students themselves.
And continue to raise this awareness.
Because we needed to raise this awareness. And actually when we registered the organization, media houses started reaching to us. Schools, we started doing it even in the buses. Women groups talking about this condition that children are not able to read. So that's how we started the organization. And some few years later, it was just 1 year later, we had so many people who wanted for us to now do a solution. Like, yeah, you have told us that this is dyslexia, my child is not able to read. So what
next?
What do I do? And my child is told, don't come back to school next year because you're not performing. I had quite a number of students who were used to tuition, and they were given ultimatum. Next year, look for a school because you are lowering our mean grade. So in 2012, that is when now we said we need to have a solution. Actually, when we started the Reagem or Talent School, we didn't start it like a school. We wanted it to be a center where children with dyslexia can come, learn and go back home. Come and learn and go back home. But then we started receiving children from all over the country. So we had to have an institution now where they could now start like learning, formal learning. Yeah.
Nice. So I would want to speak to one of the pupils.
Okay.
Yes, we can move the microphone.
Okay.
So you just tell us your name.
My name is Mary, and when I was in primary, my mother told me that there's this school called Reagem, but she wanted to take me when I was in class 3. Then after that, she told me that it is a big school, but it is too far, and I will go when I was in class 7. That's why she explained to me how it looks and how it's usually teach. That is how I learned how to enter in that school.
Right.
And I learned more in that school when I entered. It taught me many things like knitting, many things that I can't count. That's why I like that school so much.
Okay. So if you can pass the mic maybe to the second line, so we can get to just hear maybe one more person. Hi, tell us your name.
Mr. Maitha.
So yeah, tell us about your experience before you went to Reagem.
Oh, the teachers were not caring in that school, and the children were laughing at me. I didn't know how to learn, write, all those things.
And so what is your experience right now that you went to Reagem?
The teachers were caring. Now I know how to read, write, and do anything.
Nice. So maybe you can get one more person. Thank you so much. You can have your sit. You can tell us your name and your experience at school.
My name is Yvonne Amaida. When I was in my other previous school, even me was like that. So I came at this school when I was in class 6. So I learned up to 6, 7 and class 8. So I learned about motor lens. So I love this school so much.
You see, we are all different. We have different hair textures, different body types. We enjoy different types of food and also different forms of entertainment. So, why should it be that we expect everyone to think and learn in the same way? Why? That is why all of us right here at KM Lookup Media share a golden perspective that persons with dyslexia simply reflect an island of weakness in a sea of strengths. And in this month of October, we want to join the rest of the world, and we choose to be counted amongst those standing with them. KM Lookup Media, Ngasimama with persons with dyslexia.